Good day everyone, we are the group 4 and today we are going to be discussing about the chapter 4 which is the guest and the service setting. So at the end of this chapter, we will be able to understand the importance of service setting or environment, determine how the service environment affect guests and employees, and lastly, identify the reasons why providing a safe and secure service environment is important for the guest. So for our first topic, we have the service escape. The service escape is the actual physical environment where the office service is performed, delivered, and consumed. It is very important because it is the area where the service team and the guests interact with each other. This is why a constant examination, especially on news areas, is very much needed. So as mentioned in the description, service escape is an environment or a place where a service is being performed. So let's say that the product value of two companies are the same, but what separates them is the ambience or the impression of the place itself. Businesses can portray their brand image to their consumers through colors, music, signs, layouts, and functionality. So for example, Starbucks, a coffee shop that is known not only for their coffee, but also the ambience of the place. It creates an environment where the customer can hang out, get their work done, and just relax. All areas where there is an encounter between a guest and the service staff can be considered part of the service escape. Planning the service escape is critical as it contributes to the overall mood of a guest while he or she is actually experiencing the service. It is also significant for the employees as it affects the overall productivity of the service staff if a setting is planned properly. So service escape does not only talk about the area or the place where the service is performed. It is a collective word where under this are some elements. So there are facility exterior and interior. For example, exterior, there are landscape, there are parkings, exterior design of the establishment, and signage. For the interior, we have music, the furnitures, interior designs, and the full layout of the establishment. Routledge Principles of Design for Tourism and Leisure-Related Establishments. Albert J. Routledge introduced certain principles on how to effectively design establishment for the purpose of both the guests and the employees as they are the ones who usually utilize establishment spaces. Everything should have a purpose. If there is a good use of the land and the spaces, there should not be any area without any function. Therefore, there should be a good relationship between the different parts of an establishment or, in a bigger scale, a complex. So what Albert is saying here that every element of a service escape is really important to consider when planning a service escape for the establishment because every element counts and that when combined together, they bring a holistic and somewhat of an ambience to the establishment. So before I continue with my discussion, I would like to use an example which is the SM Cabanatuan to be an illustrative example for the following statements. So first we have the natural elements. These areas include the land itself, water areas, and plants. So we all know that SM Cabanatuan have a landscape of plants in front of it and also on the rooftop garden. So next is the use areas. These are areas where there is an interaction between the guests and the service staff most of the time, such as the dining room floor, parking area, and game rooms. In these areas, it is important to check for certain technical requirements. So in SM Cabanatuan, we have our own use areas. We have food courts, we have the arcade area. Also, we have the cinemas and parking area. So the next thing is the major structures. In large complexes, these pertain to the buildings and dams. So SM Cabanatuan is the building itself, and as you have noticed, there is a terminal beside it, and that is also considered as a major structure in the SM Cabanatuan. So the next element in a service escape is we have the minor structures. These include utility areas, benches for guests, walkways, and pathways. For large outdoor complexes, it is important to establish a good street system and internal road network so that guests would not be lost and to ensure quality of experience. In SM Cabanatuan, we also have these minor structures such as the bench that you see on the rooftop garden and also the playground at the highest floor. So walkways and pathways, we also have this in SM Cabanatuan, where these are the spaces where people can use for walking or traveling to other stalls or shops. So a good example of good street system in SM Cabanatuan is the pedestrian lane. As we all know, pedestrian lane is a lane for people to walk across the road. So people can use it to cross the road to get to the mall. Another example of a good street system is that in SM Cabanatuan, they have a separate road lane for vehicles or public transportation where customers can drop by at the mall. Also, in parking areas, we have separate lanes, which is the entrance and the exit lanes, which people find it very convenient for them to avoid accidents and risks. And lastly, we have forces of nature. These include wind, sun, and rain effects. While each part is individual in nature, no element can function without each other. One must not forget that in planning the servicescape for the guests and employees, the key word should be relationships. Each element should be planned in relation to one another. So as I have said earlier, these natural elements, they use areas, major and minor structures, and forces of nature, they each have a relationship to each other because having a successfully planned servicescape can give a holistic feeling or ambience to the establishment. That will also give customers a quality service experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Morales. I'm going to discuss about importance of servicescape, expectation, and mood and emotion. For the first one is the importance of servicescape. The concept of servicescape is very much significant in designing the entire guest experience within the context of tourism and hospitality. It makes it easy for the owner, management, team, and staff to deliver the image that they want to project to their guests. Below this concept is highlighted into the view to further emphasize its importance. So yung servicescape, nag-include siya ng multiple space elements and interaction between employees and customers. Some important example includes restaurants, gyms, swimming pool, amusement park, bars, ocean liners, international hotels, and many more. In service such as restaurants or cafes, the servicescape design help both customer and employees socialize to help facilitate a pleasurable experience with friends, family, business clients. So yung overcrowding in retail store, in shopping center, it can hurt the atmosphere. For example, servicescape is important like for example, in Tagaytay, which dinadayo siya ng maraming tourists because they want to gain their pleasure for that servicescape. Kasi madaming place sa Tagaytay na mayroong magandang servicescape, kaya yung mga local tourists or some of international tourists, nagpupunta sila sa Tagaytay para i-visit yung place na yon dahil meron silang magandang servicescape. The next one is expectation. The environment largely influences guest expectation even before the service process. This can be reflected as the guests would expect cleanliness as a primary concern. In most cases, for example, if a casual dining restaurant exterior is dirty, the guest would have negative impression which affect their entire experience. Another example, if the hotel is dirty or meron sila nakitang insects sa loob ng hotel like cockroach, then yung negative impression ng guest, maaapektuhan yung full experience nila. Like, iisipin nila na yung tinutuluyan nilang hotel is dirty and hindi nila na-accomplish yung cleanliness na gusto nila. So, yung expectation ng guest masisira para dun sa hotel. Then, the next one is the ability of the restaurant team, the chef, and the dining room team is no way connected to the cigarette butts outside the restaurant, but it is a must the restaurant team takes care of, or else the guest would accept a negative experience or would not enter at all. For example, merong isang place na in which bawal mag-cigarette yung guest sa loob. And sa labas lang pwede. Then, syempre, magkakaroon ng negative experience yung guest kasi gusto nga nila na mag-cigarette sa loob like that. So, kailangan gawan ng paraan ng mga staff kung paano yung gagawin nila para masabi nila dun sa mga guests na kailangan sa labas yung cigarette because they have a policy in which nabawal yung cigarette sa loob. Pierre Science 2014 conducted a research on the impact of environment certification on hotel guest ratings. Results showed that although the responses vary depending on the level of service of the hotel, with the industry push towards sustainability, environmental certification give luxury hotel some competitive advantage and allow market share gains with their group. So sabi ni Pierre Science in 2014, nag-conduct siya ng research in which yung impact na environment certification sa hotel guest rating, nagre-result siya na yung responses ng mga guests is sa level of service na binibigay ng hotel. So, ang example nito ng research niya is sa atin ngayon is yung Thrift Advisory in which yung mga guests nagbibigay sila ng stars which is 1 to 5 in which nakikita yon ng mga guests na gustong mag-check-in. So, kung ikaw nag-check-in ka doon tapos magbibigay ka ng star sa kanila or sa hotel na pinag-check-inan mo, mabibase ka sa entire experience na naranasan mo sa hotel. Bali yung service na binigay nila sa'yo. ASEAN Green Hotel Standard. The Association of Southeast Asian Nation Green Hotel Standard award hotel with certificate process that increase environmental friendly and in energy conservation in the ASEAN lodging sector. So ano nga bang purpose ng ASEAN Green Hotel? The purpose of the ASEAN Clean Tourist City Standard or tinatawag na ACTS is to provide ASEAN member countries with a tool that will improve the quality of tourism in their cities, increase their market competitiveness, but also improve the situation of local residents and their livelihood by alleviating poverty. The next one is mood and emotion. Another importance of Servicescape is that it set the moods for the guests and somehow evoke their emotion along the experience. The mix of different elements will consider effect of the guest's moods even before he or she entered an establishment. For example, hindi ka pa pumapasok ng amusement park pero narinig mo na yung favorite childhood cartoon theme song mo is nagple-play sa labas ng Common Ground, the amusement park. So, magbibigay yun ng happy experience sa'yo kasi naalala mo na nung bata ka, yun yung lagi mong pinapatugtog or yun yung laging mo pinapanood in which nagbibigay sa'yo ng happy experience bago ka pa pumasok sa amusement park. Then, the next one is orienting team and make them understand the things they need to do. For example is, may mascot, then tinanggal niya yung costume niya in front of a children, yung mood tsaka yung emotion ng bata, magkakaroon yun ng negative impact in which pwede siyang umiyak or matakot kasi iba yung pinoportray ng mascot, iba yung iniisip niya na dapat gawin ng mascot, tapos nakita niya na yung mascot pala, tao lang, and it's not real cartoons, which magbibigay ng negative impact dun sa place and dun sa emotions ng bata. Then the next one is si Elise 2008. He highlighted in his study that experience tagging is very important, most especially in recreational establishment. The concept includes traditional organized program which extend the guest interaction activity programs, event service, and ultimately the venue itself. Because of this, the guests feel the value of its experience. As the result, memories created by this experience would turn to positive expressions such as guests deciding to commit their time, establishment, promotion, their willingness to participate in program, their decision to accept different risks, involvement in implementing the program.
Good morning everyone, I am J. Marie A. Machas and I'm going to discuss the last 3 subtopics of our report. Employee satisfaction. It is also known as job satisfaction. It is the extent to which an individual is happy with their job and the role it plays in their life. Why do you think employee satisfaction is important? It is very important in any business to satisfy their employees because they play important duties and responsibilities in a certain business. In short, isa sila sa mga important characters sa isang business.
Sila yung kumikilos or gumagawa ng mga main task para magtuloy-tuloy yung operations ng business. Without them and their expertise in their jobs, we can conclude that no business will succeed without their help. Therefore, it is important to satisfy them. But in what ways? First is to make them feel that they are safe in their workplace. Kapag alam nilang safe sila, mas komportable sila magtrabaho at kumilos. Second is, it is also important to have a nice and friendly co-workers. Kung mabuti yung pakikitungo nila sa isa't isa at nagkakaintindihan naman, then it's good. Third is no favoritism, no discrimination, backstabbing, or paninira sa isang tao. Fourth, the benefits that employees must receive. If binibigay naman yung nararapat na benefits para sa kanila, and of course, yung mga incentives, bonus, and promotion. And also, importante rin yung motivation at inspiration na sinasabi at ipinapakita sa kanila ng kanilang head. At maganda yung paghahatid nila ng services and products sa customers. Then, there's no reason to make them feel dissatisfied in their work. The service setting also has an impact on the workforce. The employees are known as the team who do not even use the service or product but are affected by it. It is a very significant part of the employees' daily routine because they work in these places most of the time. Hence, the exposure. Service setting is the physical environment in which the service provider and customer are interacting. For example, may isang customer na bumalik sa inyo and he or she was complaining about the product he or she bought yesterday. And you have learned that there was really a problem in that product. So it will somewhat make you feel embarrassed and bad about it. Another example, lumapit sa'yo si customer because she was satisfied and happy sa foods na sinerve nyo sa kanya. So, ikaw naman matutuwa kasi the business is doing good and it satisfies your customer. So, it will affect your mood positively for the whole day and maybe for the next coming days. Naturally, the service setting should be clean and orderly, conducive to working and well-designed to harness employee satisfaction, which somehow relates to guest satisfaction. If the employees know that their workplace is a safe and orderly place, mas magiging productive and efficient yung work nila. According to the study made in the Banks of Turkey, it shows that the workplace environment in terms of physical as well as behavioral components is a part and parcel to achieve work productivity of the employees. For the physical work environment, areas which are deemed important to them include the furniture and furnishing, office space, interior surface, and storage of work materials. While doon naman sa behavioral, it includes interpersonal relationship, emotional factors, job assignment and task, overtime duty, and extended work contribute to the employee's positive environment. This shows that service setting plays an important role in developing their employees' capabilities and skills, and of course, for their welfare. Service production factory. Service setting is often referred to as a service production factory. It is quite different in the manufacturing industry as in service, the guest is in the middle of it. Within the service production factory, the guest undergoes and co-produces the service experience, and the service setting has a big role in the guest satisfaction and eventually loyalty. Ang ibig sabihin ng service production factory ay yung lugar kung saan ina-avail ni customer or guest yung services na kung saan nagbibigay ng service experience sa kanya. It may be good or bad experience. For example, nag-check-in ka sa isang hotel and you want your room hotel with queen-size bed, large bathroom with jacuzzi, and the location of your room is facing the beach. The staffs gave all the things you need and your special request. You were surrounded by beautiful and aesthetic beauty of the hotel, and you can try different recreational activities you haven't experienced before. It allows you to try new things and explore provided by the hotel, and this is what service experience means. Therefore, being provided and given with all of this, ibig sabihin, you were satisfied and you may want to experience it again in the near future. According to Heidi 2007, it emphasized the role of architecture in shaping the guest experience and how they react on it. Hotel managers, as part of the planning process of the service setting, regarded ambience as a very important aspect in operations, nourished by staff attitude through friendliness and care. Architectural designs and ambience and the hospitable approach to the guests are also part of the guest experience, especially if the place has a particular story to tell to them. It is another level of service experience. Function value. Service setting is important because of its functional value. With the guest as its central concern, the establishment's focal reason for existence is to provide a safe and easy to use and understand place. Safety and security could not be more highlighted than before, as there are a lot of technological advances that can be accessed by other people. This is why it is a major task for people of safety and security to convince guests to come in the property and enjoy the facilities and accommodations. The function value of a business such as hotels, restaurants, resorts, and other lodging facilities is the safety and security of people, to make them feel safe and away from harmful situations that may scare them. And that's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have learned something from our report.
Thank you for listening. If you have questions, clarification, don't be shy to ask.